Hi everyone, I'm bringing you a video today showcasing a couple of tags that I've done for the Tag It Tuesday blog that I do every month, where I provide you a theme and we make some altered tags. And here I've started with some basic number 5 shipping tags, and I'm using some Dilutions ink sprays in Grape and London Blue. Letting those kind of run around and do their job, and then I noticed those lovely puddles that I didn't want to get rid of and dragged the edges through there to give them some definition. And then of course I'm not going to let all that ink go to waste, so I'm going to pick that up on a page in an art journal so I can use that yumminess later. Dry these tags up a little bit, and as I'm drying them I'm eyeballing those piles of ink I still have, so I'm going to pick those up a little bit, add a little bit more interest to the tags. And of course, you know it, I have to pull out the bubble stencil because I just can't help myself. And we're going to do some ghost stenciling. So I'm just spraying some water through that stencil onto those tags, let it sit for a few seconds, and then we'll blot that right up, and that's when the magic happens because it pulls that ink right up. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, now I've got a couple of different snowflakes that I'm working with. One that I cut out from a die cut machine, and then another one that was gifted to me. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do where. Now I'm taking some mica powder in purple and mixing it with gesso. I never get the effect that I want with this, and I don't know why. The mica powder has the most amazing shimmer, but for some reason, when I mix it with something else, primarily gesso, it just dulls it down. You still get the color, but you don't get the shine, and I'm not sure why, and I'm always disappointed, even though I know it's going to happen. So here I'm using that concoction I just mixed up. And like my little container there, that's from IKEA with a big old magnet on the back of it, and it sticks on the side of my rolly cart. Handy dandy stuff. Anyway, I'm going to sponge some of that purple mixture through this doily stencil onto my tag. Again, this didn't turn out the way I wanted, but that's okay. It's just a tag, and we're just going to keep rolling. What is it I always say? It's just paint, it's just paper. And then I thought, well, heck, I've got some of this globby stuff left. Let's put it around the edge of this tag. Okay, here I am. I just spritzed a little bit of water into one of the wells and adding a little bit of the white gesso and using this little bitty baby toothbrush that I've had forever. This is how I add splatters to things. I know a lot of people use a paintbrush and flick it on there. I just always use this little toothbrush and then run my thumbnail across it, and that's how I get the splatters. Okay, so I'm looking for a little rhinestone to go in the middle of this beautiful snowflake. And then I'm going to stamp a sentiment on here, or I thought I was going to stamp a sentiment on here. I've got a really old white color box pigment ink pad, and it didn't give me a good stamping. And when I put my iridescent embossing powder over it, it just didn't happen. You didn't see the white from the pigment ink. So as you'll see, I'm going to go back in then with a Versamark pad and do my best to line up my stamping over what I've already done, and then use white, just plain white embossing ink. No, sorry, embossing powder. And see, it just disappeared. Yeah, not happy. So here I pulled out the Versamark and white powder, and we're going to go over that as best that we can. I think I even got my head in the camera here, maybe. And now we're going to dry this, and it's not going to be a real clean impression because I stamped over the other one, but at least now you can see the words where we couldn't before. Much better. I'm going to attach this gorgeous snowflake with a bit of foam tape on the back, and then put that rhinestone right in the middle. And I put a little bit of E6000 on the back of the rhinestone just to make sure that it stayed in place. I was afraid that the little bit of foam tape that was showing through might not be quite enough to hold that rhinestone in place. Okay, now we're moving on to the other snowflake, and I decided that I didn't really think it was the right color blue to go with what I put on the tag, so I pulled out a Lindy's spray and a Color Bloom spray, trying to get all that beautiful mica powder shook up in those, and I'm not sure which one's going to go. The Lindy spray, I thought initially, looking at the bottle, was going to be too teal. And so I thought, okay, it's probably going to be the Color Bloom spray. But to be safe, I pulled out a piece of cardstock, and I'm going to spray both of them on there and dry them, and then take a look and see which one matches. Still trying to get that powder, that shimmer mixed up in that Color Bloom spray. They settle really heavily, so you have to make sure you get all that mixed up in there if you really want that shimmer. So here I've dried them, and surprise, surprise, the Lindy's spray is the one that matches better. So I'm really glad I did this test on a piece of cardstock. So I'm spraying my snowflake, trying to make it kind of go with the colors on the tag a little bit better. Plus this will give it some nice shimmer too. You can see that a little bit there in the camera. So then I have all my gazillion buttons out, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do to jazz this tag up. And at first I had some translucent buttons, and I thought they got lost. So then I found some opaque buttons. And then I had one translucent one still there, and I thought, no, that really doesn't work because everything else is opaque. So I finally, in one of my jars, found one that was a little bit different color that was opaque that was going to work. And look, here's my color box pad that failed me earlier, but it's going to work fine to go around the edge of the tag. It just didn't emboss very nicely for me. So it redeemed itself. And back to the baby toothbrush and adding some splatters, just trying to brighten these up a little bit. Got me out a little stamp, and I'm not even going to mess around with the color box pad. You see I went straight to the Versamark because I know it's going to do what I want. So I'm just going to stamp the word joy down in the bottom corner and emboss that with the white embossing powder. And here we're just attaching all the buttons with some glue dots. If you've never used glue dots, man oh man do they stick good. They are great for adhering 3D dimensional things to your projects. And don't forget to go over to my blog and check out my link up party. It will be posted on Tuesday, December 15th. Every third week of the month is when the Linky party goes up, and I would love to have you join in and make an altered tag and link it up. It's just for fun, and I'd love to have you join me. Okay, here I'm going to attach, since this snowflake was actually meant to be a tag by itself, it already had a hole in the top of it. So I picked out a sparkly brad and just attached it right then through the hole of the craft tag itself, or the manila tag. And And there we have the 2 tags. I was really pleased with how these came out, and you can see the detail better in the still pictures here at the end. Again, I appreciate you coming by. I would love to have a thumbs up, a like, and a subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you have a really great day, guys. Thanks again for coming by.